Have you ever wondered what separates those who achieve extraordinary success from those who simply dream about it? What is the invisible force that drives some people to reach heights most only aspire to? The answer is not talent, luck, or sheer intelligence alone. It's something far more fundamental. It's discipline and an unwavering, no-compromise commitment. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the essence of discipline and the power of making a commitment that leaves no room for negotiation. You'll discover why relying solely on motivation is a trap many fall into, and why discipline is the real cornerstone of lasting success. This is not about fleeting inspiration or temporary bursts of energy. This is about forging an unbreakable mindset and a lifestyle that propels you forward no matter what obstacles arise. Think about the times you started something with enthusiasm, but lost steam along the way. Maybe it was a fitness goal, learning a new skill, or working on a passion project. You felt excited, motivated, maybe even unstoppable at first, but then life happened. Distractions crept in, challenges popped up, and your motivation dwindled. Eventually, you gave up or slowed down, promising yourself you'd try again tomorrow. Sound familiar? That's the trap of motivation. It's powerful, but fickle. It depends heavily on your mood, circumstances, and external factors beyond your control, and that's exactly why it fails most people. Discipline, on the other hand, is something you cultivate. It's a muscle, you build a habit, you nurture. It's the commitment to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's the daily decision to prioritize your goals over comfort, excuses, and distractions. Napoleon Hill, one of the greatest thinkers on success, famously said, "Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do." This quote highlights a crucial truth. Discipline is not about harsh self-punishment. It's about mastering your mindset and aligning your actions with your highest vision. Throughout history, the most successful men and women have shared one common trait. They made a no-negotiation commitment to themselves and their missions. They burned the bridges behind them, removed all exits, and refused to backtrack. This level of commitment transformed their lives and allowed them to overcome failures, fears, and setbacks with relentless resolve. In the next parts of this video, we will explore what discipline really means, how it differs from motivation, and why a no-compromise commitment is the secret ingredient that fuels unstoppable momentum. We'll unpack timeless stories from legends like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford to understand how they built ironclad discipline and transformed their visions into reality. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how to build your own discipline muscle and how to commit to your goals so firmly that quitting is no longer an option. Whether you're aiming for financial freedom, better health, or mastery of a craft, this knowledge will set you on the path to actual transformation. So if you're ready to move beyond wishful thinking and take control of your destiny, stay with me. This journey isn't easy. It requires grit, patience, and unwavering focus. But the rewards are monumental, a life where you no longer wait for motivation, but instead become the force that moves forward no matter what. Are you ready to step into that version of yourself? Let's begin. Discipline is one of those words we hear often, but few truly understand its depth and power. At its core, discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the ability to stay committed to your goals, routines, and principles despite distractions, discomfort, or temporary setbacks. Many confuse discipline with motivation, but the two are fundamentally different. Motivation is emotional. It's a burst of energy that comes and goes. It's what gets you started, but often it's not enough to keep you going when the going gets tough. Discipline, on the other hand, is behavioral. It's about forming habits and creating systems that make success inevitable. Think of discipline as the backbone of all achievement. Without it, motivation alone can't carry you through the long journey of growth and change. This is why most people who rely on motivation end up falling off their path. Motivation is like a spark, it ignites the fire, but discipline is the steady flame that keeps the fire burning. Napoleon Hill taught us that discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your actions. If your mind is cluttered with doubts, fears, or distractions, your actions will reflect that chaos. But when your mind is disciplined, focused, intentional, and aligned, your actions follow suit. Discipline also means creating boundaries. It's about saying no to things that don't serve your purpose, whether it's mindless scrolling on social media, unhealthy habits, or negative influences around you. It's about designing your environment and routines in a way that supports your goals rather than sabotages them. One of the most important aspects of discipline is consistency. Small, consistent actions repeated daily lead to massive results over time. It's not about doing everything perfectly, but about showing up every day and doing what you said you would do. Over time, these actions build momentum, rewiring your brain and transforming your identity. Let's take an example. Imagine someone who wants to improve their physical health. They don't wake up every day feeling motivated to work out. But if they have discipline, they will exercise regardless of mood or energy levels. Some days it's hard, some days they want to quit. But their discipline pushes them through, and eventually working out becomes part of who they are. Discipline is often described as doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. This requires a mindset shift. Instead of relying on feelings, you rely on decisions. You make a commitment and honor it no matter what. This is what separates successful people from those who only dream about success. Napoleon Hill said, "Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do." This highlights the fact that discipline is first internal. It starts with mental control and clarity. If your mind is your commander, your actions are the soldiers carrying out orders. Without discipline, those soldiers wander aimlessly. Discipline also builds resilience. When obstacles arise and discipline keeps you moving forward, it's the force that helps you push past frustration, fatigue, and failure. Without it, giving up seems like the easier option. Another key point is that discipline is a skill, not a trait. It's something you build and improve over time. You don't have to be born disciplined, you develop it by making small, deliberate choices each day. Like a muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Finally, discipline leads to freedom. It might sound paradoxical, but when you have discipline, you gain control over your life. You're no longer a slave to impulses, distractions, or inconsistent motivation. Instead, you create your own reality through intentional, disciplined action. In summary, discipline is the ability to follow through on commitments regardless of feelings, the foundation of lasting success and growth, the consistent effort that builds habits and momentum, the mental mastery of thoughts that leads to aligned action, a skill you develop daily that brings freedom and control. In the next part, we will explore why relying on motivation alone is a flawed approach and how discipline provides a reliable path forward, especially when motivation fades. Motivation is often glorified as the secret sauce to success. We hear stories of people being super motivated or inspired to change their lives, and we're led to believe that motivation is what fuels all great achievements. But the truth is, far less glamorous motivation is fleeting, unreliable, and often the very thing that keeps us stuck. Motivation is a feeling and emotional state that ebbs and flows depending on countless factors: your mood, energy levels, environment, and external circumstances. One day you wake up feeling ready to conquer the world, the next, you can barely drag yourself out of bed. This emotional roller coaster is the enemy of consistent progress. Imagine trying to build a business, learn a new skill, or get fit, all based on how motivated you feel each day. It's no wonder most people give up before they see real results. Motivation can spark a start, but it rarely sustains the long grind of discipline, commitment, and hard work. Research backs this up. Studies in psychology show that motivation is unreliable, because it is driven by the limbic system, the part of our brain that manages emotions and impulses. In contrast, discipline and habit formation involve the prefrontal cortex responsible for planning and self-control. To succeed long-term, we need to engage the rational, self-governing part of our brain, not just ride the highs and lows of emotion. Many people fall into the trap of waiting for motivation before they act. They say, "I'll start when I feel motivated," or "I'll keep going as long as I'm inspired." The problem: motivation doesn't wait for you, it comes and goes, often disappearing right when you need it most. Another pitfall is the motivation myth that suggests you need massive bursts of enthusiasm to make progress. But this belief leads to burnout, frustration, and feelings of failure when the motivation inevitably fades. This cycle of starting strong and quitting weak drains your confidence and keeps you trapped in a loop of inconsistency. Let's take the example of someone trying to exercise regularly. They sign up for a gym membership, feel pumped on the first day, but after a few workouts, the excitement fades. Suddenly, motivation is gone, and skipping sessions becomes easy. This pattern repeats every few months. Motivation sparks action, but lack of discipline ends it. So what's the solution? The key lies in shifting from motivation-dependent behavior to discipline-driven habits. Discipline doesn't wait for a feeling. It commands action regardless of emotion. When motivation is low, as it inevitably will be, discipline pushes you forward. This doesn't mean motivation has no place at all. It can be a helpful trigger or initial spark to get started. But motivation should never be the foundation of your progress. Instead, build systems, routines, and mental habits that allow you to act whether motivated or not. One practical approach is to focus on small, manageable actions. Even on days you feel unmotivated, commit to doing just 5 minutes of your task. This minimal effort often leads to momentum, reigniting motivation naturally. But crucially, it's discipline that gets you to start. Motivation follows later. In addition, relying on motivation can make you vulnerable to external circumstances. If your mood depends on how the weather is, how your social life is going, or what's happening around you, your progress becomes unstable. Discipline, however, creates internal consistency. It anchors your behavior to your values and goals, not external factors. The difference can be summarized like this. Motivation: I feel like doing it today. Discipline: I will do it today no matter how I feel. This subtle shift in mindset is profound. It moves you from being reactive to proactive. Instead of waiting for a push, you become the one who pushes. Napoleon Hill warned against relying on fleeting emotions. He believed true success came from self-discipline and mental control, the ability to command yourself to act with purpose every day. This is the mental muscle that transforms dreams into reality. In summary, motivation is temporary and unpredictable. Relying solely on motivation leads to inconsistency and failure. Discipline is the stable force that sustains progress. Build habits and systems that don't depend on motivation. Act regardless of feelings. That is true power. In the next section, we'll explore what it means to make a no-compromise commitment, a vow to yourself that removes all wiggle room and excuses, setting you up for unstoppable momentum. No-compromise commitment is a concept that transforms ordinary goals into unstoppable missions. It means making a decision so strong, so absolute, that you refuse to negotiate with yourself or with circumstances. There is no room for maybe later or just this once. This level of commitment creates a mental boundary that protects your progress and ensures that every action aligns with your ultimate vision. At its core, a no-compromise commitment is a personal contract. It's a promise you make to yourself that you will follow through no matter what. This kind of commitment changes your mindset from wishful thinking to decisive action. It is the difference between those who dream and those who become. Think about the times you made a resolution but allowed yourself to bend the rules. Maybe you said, "I'll eat healthy, except on weekends," or "I'll work out unless I'm tired." These compromises might seem small, but they slowly erode your progress. Each time you negotiate with yourself, you weaken your resolve and send a message to your subconscious that your goal is optional. On the other hand, a no-compromise commitment demands that you honor your word to yourself with unwavering consistency. It's about building integrity internally, so you become someone who follows through regardless of feelings, temptations, or challenges. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. He emphasized that success requires a mind so committed that it refuses to entertain failure or doubt. This mental stance creates a powerful force that propels you forward even when the path is difficult. When you make a no-compromise commitment, you remove all escape routes. Imagine crossing a river and burning the bridge behind you. There's no way back. Your only choice is to move forward with full focus and determination. This commitment changes your entire approach to challenges. Failure is no longer an option, it's simply a temporary setback on the way to success. Excuses lose their power. Procrastination becomes irrelevant. Moreover, this level of commitment affects your environment and relationships. When you are truly committed, you start to align your surroundings to support your goal. You avoid distractions, seek accountability, and surround yourself with people who respect your journey. A no-compromise commitment also shifts your self-identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries or hopes or wishes. You become the person who does. This identity shift is crucial because, as Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. But belief only turns into achievement when backed by unwavering commitment. To cultivate this commitment, start by writing down your goal in clear, definitive terms. Declare it to yourself daily with conviction. Make it a non-negotiable part of your identity. Then, design your daily actions around this commitment, refusing to let anything interfere. In practice, no-compromise commitment looks like showing up every day, regardless of mood. Saying no to distractions that don't align with your purpose. Refusing to justify failure or delay. Adjusting strategies, but never abandoning the goal. Recommitting after setbacks and pushing harder. This commitment isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about making the choice every single day to keep going, no matter what. In the upcoming sections, we will explore real stories of people who lived this commitment and transformed their lives. We will also dive into the powerful strategy of burning the bridge, a tactic that ensures you have no choice but to succeed. One of the most powerful strategies to cement your no-compromise commitment is the concept of burning the bridge. This phrase originally comes from military tactics, where armies would destroy the bridge behind them after crossing a river, leaving no option to retreat. Their only choice was to move forward, fight, and win. This bold, irreversible action symbolizes a complete break from the past and a total commitment to the future. In life and success, burning the bridge means removing any possibility of going back to old habits, old mindsets, or old ways of living that don't serve your goals. It's about creating a mental and physical environment where failure or giving up is not an option, only progress forward. Historical examples. Napoleon Hill, whose teachings have influenced millions, recognized the importance of this mental strategy. In his writings, he urged readers to commit fully to their goals, to the point where turning back was no longer a choice. Thomas Edison is a classic example. During his quest to invent the electric light bulb, Edison faced thousands of failures. But he never considered going back to give up or try something else. His mindset was that failure was impossible, only steps toward success. He had mentally burned the bridge to quitting, forcing himself to persevere until he succeeded. Henry Ford, the pioneer of the assembly line and affordable automobiles, also demonstrated this approach. When investors laughed at his ideas, Ford didn't back down or wait for approval. He committed so fully that he had no room to retreat. He invested everything, pushing forward until he revolutionized the automobile industry. These legends share a common thread, a decision so absolute, a commitment so fierce, that the old version of themselves was left behind and only the forward-moving creator remained. How to burn your own bridge. Applying this principle in your life means identifying what needs to be left behind and taking decisive action to remove it. 1. Identify your bridges. What are the old habits, people, environments, or thoughts that keep pulling you backward? It could be unhealthy routines, toxic relationships, procrastination patterns, or limiting beliefs. 2. Make a clean break. This might mean deleting social media apps that waste your time telling negative influences. You are changing your priorities or physically removing items associated with past failures or distractions. 3. Create a forward-only environment. Surround yourself with tools, people, and spaces that support your new identity. This might include a dedicated workspace, supportive friends or mentors, or daily reminders of your commitment. 4. Set non-negotiable rules. Decide that certain behaviors or excuses are no longer acceptable. If you falter, get back on track immediately, without self-judgment, remembering that your bridge is burned. Retreat isn't an option. Psychological impact. Burning the bridge has a profound effect on your mind. It reduces indecision and doubt because the option to quit has been removed. Your brain is forced to focus entirely on the next steps, forward, building momentum and confidence. This also enhances your accountability. Since you cannot go back, you must find solutions to move forward. It shifts your mindset from, "What if I fail?" to "How do I succeed?" This small change is huge in creating unstoppable momentum. Practical examples. Fitness. If you want to commit to a healthier lifestyle, burn the bridge by throwing out junk food, unsubscribing from tempting food delivery apps, and setting strict workout schedules with no exceptions. Career. If you want to switch careers or start a business, burn the bridge by resigning from your old job, informing your network about your new path, and dedicating your full energy to the new mission. Personal growth. Burn mental bridges by rewriting your internal narrative. Stop telling yourself "I can't" or "I'm not ready." Replace these with affirmations like, "I am capable and I move forward no matter what." Beware of false bridges. Sometimes we think we've burned the bridge, but actually we leave a hidden way back open. This creates an internal conflict where part of you is still attached to old habits, making progress shaky. True bridge burning requires honesty and courage. Acknowledge what you're holding on to and fully release it. It's uncomfortable but necessary for breakthrough transformation. Final thoughts on burning the bridge. This strategy is not about recklessness. It's about deliberate, conscious choice. It's about deciding that your future is more important than your past and acting accordingly. When you burn the bridge, you declare to yourself and the world, "I am fully committed. I will not turn back. I will find a way no matter what." This mindset, combined with discipline and no-compromise commitment, forms a triad of unstoppable power that moves mountains and turns dreams into reality. Building iron discipline is like forging a strong metal. It takes consistent effort, patience, and the right techniques. Discipline isn't something you magically have. It's a skill developed through daily practice and intentional choices. Here are proven methods to cultivate discipline that will empower you to follow through on your commitments without fail. 1. Start small and build gradually. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to overhaul their entire life overnight. This leads to overwhelm and quick burnout. Instead, focus on small, manageable habits that are easy to maintain. These small wins build momentum and strengthen your self-control. For example, if your goal is to exercise regularly, start with just 5 or 10 minutes a day. This creates a routine without triggering resistance. Over time, increase the duration as discipline becomes second nature. This incremental approach works because it reduces friction between intention and action. Your brain perceives the small task as doable, and completing it releases a sense of accomplishment that motivates continued effort. 2. Create clear, specific rules. Vague goals lead to vague results. Discipline thrives on clarity. Define exactly what you will do, when, and how. Setting precise boundaries removes ambiguity and excuses. Instead of saying, "I will eat healthier," say, "I will eat vegetables with every lunch and dinner." Instead of, "I'll work out more," say, "I will exercise for 30 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m." Clear rules make it easier to follow through because you know exactly what's expected. It also allows you to track progress objectively, helping you stay accountable. 3. Eliminate the need for motivation act. Even when unready, discipline means acting regardless of how you feel. Waiting to feel motivated sets you up for failure because motivation fluctuates. Build a mindset where action precedes feeling. Commit to starting your task for at least 5 minutes even if you don't feel like it. Often starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum takes over. This principle was famously echoed by Nike's slogan, "Just do it." It cuts through hesitation by focusing on the action, not the emotional state. 4. Manage your environment strategically. Your environment has a powerful influence on your discipline. Surrounding yourself with distractions, temptations, or negative influences weakens your resolve. Make deliberate changes. Remove junk food from your home if you want to eat healthier. Keep your workspace clean and free of distractions to improve focus. Limit time on social media or use apps that block distractions during work hours. Spend time with people who support and challenge your growth. By designing an environment conducive to discipline, you reduce reliance on willpower alone, which is a finite resource. 5. Track your habits and progress. Use tools like habit trackers, journals, or apps to monitor your daily actions. Seeing a visual streak of consistency motivates you to keep going. Tracking also provides valuable feedback. It shows where you slip up and helps you adjust. Reflecting on progress reinforces your commitment and builds confidence. A simple daily checklist can be powerful. Mark off each completed action and celebrate milestones, no matter how small. 6. Use reminders and triggers. Set up external reminders to prompt disciplined behavior. This could be alarms, calendar alerts, or notes in visible places. You can also use triggers cues that remind you to perform a habit. For example, brushing your teeth can be a trigger to meditate, or finishing lunch can be a trigger to read for 10 minutes. These tools help embed discipline into your routine until it becomes automatic. 7. Develop a strong. Why discipline is easier when connected to a compelling purpose. Knowing why you pursue a goal anchors your efforts and fuels persistence. Reflect regularly on your reasons. Write them down and revisit them daily. The stronger your why, the more resilient your discipline. Napoleon Hill emphasized that a definite purpose is essential to sustain long-term discipline and success. 8. Practice self-compassion. Without compromise. Discipline doesn't mean beating yourself up over setbacks. Mistakes happen. The key is to acknowledge them without losing your commitment. When you falter, reflect on what caused it and recommit immediately. Avoid the all-or-nothing mentality that leads to giving up. Self-compassion combined with firm resolve creates sustainable discipline. 9. Build discipline in key areas. First, focus on developing discipline in areas that have a multiplier effect on your life: sleep and wake time consistency, nutrition and hydration, regular physical activity, focused work habits. Success in these core areas often spills over into other domains, strengthening overall discipline. 10. Use visualization and affirmations. Visualize yourself acting with discipline and succeeding. Mental rehearsal prepares your brain for consistent behavior. Combine visualization with affirmations like, "I am disciplined and focused," or "I follow through on my commitments every day." Repeat these affirmations daily to strengthen your mental resolve. 11. Plan for obstacles and prepare solutions. Anticipate challenges that might test your discipline. Plan in advance how you will respond. For example, if you know you get distracted by social media in the evening, decide beforehand to turn off devices at a set time. Preparing for obstacles reduces surprise and helps maintain discipline when faced with difficulties. Building iron discipline is a journey, not a destination. It requires consistent effort and conscious choices every day. But as you apply these methods, you'll notice a shift. Your ability to follow through strengthens, your confidence grows, and your goals move closer to reality. The key takeaway: discipline isn't about willpower alone. It's about designing your life, your habits, and your mindset to support unwavering commitment. Building discipline alone isn't enough. It must be paired with a daily ironclad commitment, a resolute promise to yourself that no matter what happens, you will keep moving forward. This kind of commitment transforms good intentions into real-world results and turns fleeting effort into lasting transformation. Writing your personal commitment statement. The first step to daily commitment is to craft a clear, concise, and powerful personal commitment statement. This should be a declaration of who you are and what you will do without compromise. For example, I commit to waking up at 6 a.m. every day to work on my most important goals no matter how tired I feel. Or I commit to eating nourishing food every day and exercising for at least 30 minutes, regardless of distractions or obstacles. Writing your commitment down makes it tangible and helps anchor your resolve. Read it every morning and evening to reinforce your promise. Repeating and reinforcing your commitment. Repetition is the key to embedding commitment deeply into your subconscious. Make it a ritual to say your commitment statement aloud with conviction daily. This self-talk programs your mind to align your behavior with your goals. Over time, your commitment becomes a mental law rather than a mere suggestion. Handling temptations and obstacles. Every journey includes temptations to break your commitment and obstacles that threaten to derail you. Practicing ironclad commitment means you prepare strategies to face these challenges. When temptation strikes, remind yourself of your commitment statement. Visualize the long-term benefits of staying disciplined versus the short-term satisfaction of giving in. Create a list of if-then plans. If I feel tired in the morning, then I will remind myself of my purpose and start with 5 minutes of work. If I'm tempted to check social media, then I will put my phone away and take a deep breath. Having these plans ready empowers you to respond quickly and stay on course. No excuses, no exceptions. Ironclad commitment means rejecting all excuses. It means you don't allow feelings of doubt, fear, or fatigue to justify breaking your promise. There will be days when your mind tells you to skip a workout, delay a task, or eat unhealthy food. Your commitment is the voice that overrides those excuses. Remember, commitment is about action, not perfection. If you slip, recommit immediately. Don't let one mistake turn into a defeat. Accountability and support systems. Sharing your commitment with trusted friends, mentors, or a support group can increase your accountability. When others know your goals and promises, you're more likely to follow through. Consider partnering with an accountability buddy or joining a mastermind group that shares your values and ambitions. Reflecting and adjusting. End each day with a brief reflection on how well you honored your commitment. Ask yourself, did I follow through on my promises today? What tempted me to break commitment? How did I overcome those temptations? What can I do better tomorrow? Journaling these reflections helps you learn and adjust, making your commitment stronger over time. Celebrating small wins. Recognize and celebrate progress, no matter how small. This positive reinforcement builds confidence and motivates continued effort. For example, if you followed your commitment all week, reward yourself with a small treat or leisure activity that doesn't sabotage your goals. Building momentum. Through daily commitment. The power of daily ironclad commitment lies in its cumulative effect. Day after day, your consistent choices build momentum that carries you forward. This momentum becomes a self-sustaining force, reducing resistance and increasing your ability to take on bigger challenges. The identity shift. Daily commitment rewires your identity. You stop thinking, "I want to do this," and start thinking, "I am the kind of person who does this." This shift is critical because identity drives behavior more than any other factor. Napoleon Hill taught that defining your identity through commitment is the foundation of success. When your actions align with who you believe yourself to be, you become unstoppable. Practicing ironclad commitment daily is a disciplined act of love and respect for your future self. It requires honesty, persistence, and the willingness to hold yourself accountable no matter what. By integrating these practices into your life, you build an unshakable foundation that will carry you through any challenge and guide you toward your greatest achievements. Discipline and no-compromise commitment are the bedrock of true lasting success. Without these, even the most brilliant ideas and best intentions falter. Today, we have explored why motivation alone is not enough, how discipline is a skill you can build, and why making a commitment without excuses or compromises will propel you beyond limits. Remember the stories of Edison Ford and countless others who transformed their dreams into reality by burning their bridges and refusing to turn back. Their secret was simple but powerful. They acted with discipline and made a promise to themselves that they would not quit no matter what. Now the question is, are you ready to make that promise to yourself? Start today. Write down your personal commitment. Read it aloud every morning and night. Create clear rules, manage your environment, and prepare for obstacles. Most importantly, act even when you don't feel like it. Let your actions, not your feelings, define your path. Change is not easy, but it is possible. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the strength of their discipline and commitment. If you cultivate these, you will build unstoppable momentum that carries you to your goals. Take control of your future, burn your bridges behind you, make your commitment ironclad, and watch as your life transforms beyond what you thought possible. This is your moment. This is your choice. Decide now. Commit now. Move forward now.